Are you tired of constantly being overlooked and underappreciated? Isn't it frustrating to date men who treat you and the relationship like just another option? Don't tell anyone I told you, but there's actually a secret method to preventing this from ever happening again. Which is why on today's show, we're going to be discussing how to be a priority and not an option. That way, for once, you can be the dream woman who he chases and pursues, and not the one who he tries to trade in for someone new. Welcome to the Players Club. If you're paying attention to me and everyone else in the live stream, please say here present so I know you're here present and actively participating. Welcome all of you beautiful souls. How are you doing today? Okay, good to see ya. Good to see ya. I see we got Ivy, our beautiful chat YouTube member in the live stream here. We got Julie, one of our members in the live stream here. Who we got here? We got Melita, Enlighten Nate, our OG over in the YouTube chat. Who else we got? Who was number one today? Who was first today? Oh, it was Tracy Now. Shout out to Tracy Now's in the YouTube. She was first today. We got to shout her out. And Ashley was number two. Ashley, she always be on time. Okay, so welcome all you beautiful people in the YouTube chat. Who we got over in the TikTok chat? I see we got Tiffany, we got Naomi, we got Ebony. SH is here, of course, holding down our TikTok chat. And we got Sharice, our other moderator, holding down the TikTok chat. Welcome, Sharice. We got Lily. And of course, guys, don't think I'll ever forget. We got the most amazing, most intelligent, most beautiful, most awesome Missy America holding down our YouTube chat as our one and only moderator, handling everything. Okay, I love you all of you beautiful souls. Okay, let's get started. And you know we going places with this. Okay, we always going somewhere, but we're definitely going somewhere today. Okay, so number one, we gonna get started with the mindset change that needs to happen in order for you to get treated like a priority, okay? And I'm so painfully serious about everything that I say here. I know that when you're thinking about getting treated like a priority, you're constantly thinking about the things that you can do more, but a lot of this is going to be focused inward because that's the start to being treated like a priority, okay? I'm actually trying to help you, okay? So number one is going to be the mindset change. Why mindset change? Because your approach is going to drastically change in your relationships and in your situationships, whatever your talk stages, whatever you want to call it, based on what your mindset is. Okay. So what do I mean by that? If you are of the mind frame that me going into each and every one of my relationships, I'm here to see if you like me. I need to do as much as I possibly can do so that you like me and you're interested in me. And you choose me and you pick me. Okay, we know pick me is not a good thing, right? And when you go into your relationships like that, and a lot of you are going into your relationships like that on a subconsciously without even realizing it, feeling like I'm here so that you will pick me and like me. So what you're not thinking about is your own needs. You're not thinking about what you prioritize. You're not thinking about what's important to you. In fact, your entire life has literally in a moment, in the snap of a finger, in the blink of an eye, in a millisecond, your entire life has transformed to being about what that man wants and whether or not he approves of you. So where do you think you're going to place all of your value? On his approval and validation of you. That is a very, 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 very horrible place for you to be in mentally, because your self-esteem will be in the dumps if you're not receiving validation, and he can also take you over the moon just by giving you some simple validation. Do you know what that translates to? That translates to control, because he has control over your emotions. He has control over your own self-image. Okay? If he controls your own self-image and how you view yourself, he can then use that against you to get whatever or extract whatever it is that he wants from you. So the mindset change is so important because it's going to drastically change your approach from being someone who is actively always seeking the validation from him, seeking the approval of him. And you need to transform that and change that into approaching your relationships from the complete opposite standpoint, that I'm here to see if you can earn my approval. Okay? I need to be real with you. Because you will never get treated like a priority when you're approaching your relationships as if, hey, I'm here to see if you like me, and I'm here to scrub the floor squeaky clean. You know, I always talk about this, guys. When you start putting your maid outfit on and you get down on your hands and knees, literally, and you start trying to scrub the floor squeaky clean while you look up at him and you say, aren't you so proud of me that I'm scrubbing the floor squeaky clean? Am I not the best maid you've ever had? I can scrub the floor squeaky clean while I can wash the dishes, while I can cook the food, while I can give you a handy, while I can give you a footy. And you feel like you're impressing him when you're able to do that. And you're hoping that the more that you can do and the more you can use your hands, feet, mouth, ears, nose, and everything, that you will impress him more. But in reality, all you're doing is making him, and making it easier for him to overlook you. Because you're boring, uninteresting, mundane, and repulsive when you're in a state where you're begging and desperate for approval or validation from him. Okay? So your mindset change, right? That approach, when you're desperate and begging for approval and validation, guys are always going to overlook you. Guys are never going to treat you like a priority because you're just one of the many. You have to understand, okay, I know this is not going to make sense. I know, like some of you say, okay, this sounds toxic. Oh, this doesn't sound like healthy advice for you to give, whatever. Here's the thing. People are not going to treat you like a priority if they already feel like you're worshiping them and are in desperate need of them. And they are the be all and end all of your life. Okay? When they feel like they already have you wrapped around their finger and they already have you scraping on the floor for scraps, just hoping to be liked and appreciated by you, people are not going to treat you like a priority. Okay? Especially not the men. The men only, listen to me. Think about what it means to be a priority, at least from a man's perspective. I'm going to explain it to you. But what it means to be a priority from a man's perspective, meaning that you are the most important woman in my life. I only care about what you want. I only care about what you need. Think about what it might take to inspire that way of thinking in a man. When you think about you are the most important woman, there's other women here, but you're the most important one to me. You're the most important one that I'm seeking out. You're the one that I'm chasing and pursuing. You can't be in a state where you're already desperate for him. How can he say out of all of these hundreds of women, you're going to be the priority when you're the one, when he looks at you, you're the only one out of all the other girls who's on your hands and knees scrubbing the floor? That's not very priority-ish. Okay? That's not very, oh, I'm here to chase after you and you alone. That's not very, you're the unique one that's so different that I want to be with you over all these other women. Okay? I know it sounds very strange, but you have to be thinking, and we're going to talk about this in a little bit, you have to be thinking about how you separate yourself, and you have to step outside of yourself and think to yourself, okay, how am I going to approach this relationship differently from how all the other women in his life have likely approached the relationship? Because the truth of the matter is, you can't be a priority if what you stand for and how you make him feel is exactly the way that all the other girls in his life have made him feel. So if he's quote unquote, because I'm not trying to help you attract a low value man, but if he's quote unquote a high value man who has standards, who has confidence, all that good stuff, then you can only imagine how easy it is for him to access other women. So you probably need to be thinking about the ways you can separate yourself from all the other women that he comes across if you want to truly be treated like a priority, okay? We'll get to separating yourself in a little bit where we'll discuss that more. But most importantly in this point is the mindset change that you must have in order to start being treated like a priority. You need to come into your relationship saying, I'm here to evaluate if you're the person that I'm looking for. So you do backflips and front flips and side flips for me. Because I'm here to determine if you are the right person for me. I don't care if you like me. Actually, I know that you like me because you're the one pursuing me. See, this is why everything kind of works together that we talk about. And you can't just listen to one show and not listen to the rest, because all of the strategies kind of snowball together in this big jambalaya soup and they work together for your good. What I mean by that is if you allow men to pursue you and you're not the one doing the chasing, you're not the one doing the reaching out, you're not the one doing the pursuing, and you allow yourself to sit back, relax, and allow him to pursue you, what then ends up happening is you're in the natural state where he is the one trying to impress you. He is the one trying to put his best foot forward. He is the one trying to gain your approval. Okay. And it already starts off that way before things even go into the wrong direction. Okay. I want to shout out, you guys are so generous in the YouTube chat. I got to shout out Anitra, who gifted one sub. Sorry, she gifted one sub, then she gifted another sub or membership in the YouTube chat. So I really, really appreciate that. And then Organic Black just gifted 5 memberships. Wow, I really, really appreciate that. Organic Black, let's give her a round of applause for you guys who don't know what memberships are. It's like subscription. Okay, so thank you so much for doing that. And shout out to Sammy, who donates. I don't know what you donated, but it's a big gift in the YouTube chat. Thank you. You're always donating. Okay, love you guys. So appreciative of that. Okay, so mindset change, so important. And specifically, let me give you an example of what I mean when I say mindset change. So when I say a mindset change, when a guy, let's say you're going on dates with a guy, I want you to be, every time you're on these dates, don't be thinking about, oh, did I say the right thing that you like that thing that I said? Am I holding my fork the right way, that if you think that I eat too fast on my date, that you're going to be thinking that I'm kind of gross, or I'm kind of like a pig, or I'm not like really womanly like. No. When you go out on these dates, I want you to be thinking, I already know the value I carry. I already know what I bring to the table. Let's sit down, and we're here to interview you. Sir, please, I hope you brought your suit, because I got my notebook and I got my pencil and my iPad, and I'm here to jot notes down because you're here for an interview, because I'm determining if you're the person for the job to be with me, if I'm going to be investing my time and energy into you. And if you're not that man, well, then you're going to get thrown by the wayside, because there's 1,000 other men lined up here for the same job interview. That's the mindset I want you to be bringing into your dates. Now, obviously, I don't necessarily want you to say that to him, but that mindset change is going to change your approach, and it's going to change the way you go about each and every date. You're going to be focused on each and every date, not just about feeling good and being in la la land and having him compliment you 1,000 times. You're going to be on those dates saying to yourself, are you the man that I'm looking for? Are these signs, or are we moving in the direction that I actually want to be moving in, based on what type of relationship I actually want? If we're not moving in that direction, then I damn sure am not going to be spending my time and energy on you. If we are moving that direction, then congratulations, you've earned a little bit more of my time and energy, until you show me that you're not the person that I'm looking for. Okay, I know it sounds very selfish. That's because it is. That's because that's what you need to do in order for people to treat you like a priority. I'm sorry to tell you, when you're only thinking about how you can give the most to people and do the most for people, they 99.9% of the time will not treat you like a priority. I don't know how else to break that down to you in a way that sounds nicer. That's just the honest truth. So you need to be thinking about yourself and your needs first before you start thinking about anyone else's, because that is the start to the approach that is required for you to get treated like a priority and not an option. Okay, so does that make sense to you guys? Right? Missy America says, I think most men know that women are being chased by other men. Yes, they know that inherently, in terms of like subconsciously, they understand that concept, but you also have to understand, in the process of them meeting you and understanding you and learning you, they will get a sense of, yeah, you might be an attractive woman, but you're a desperate woman on the inside. And you're a needy woman on the inside, or you're seeking validation on the inside. So regardless of whether you have the biggest dump truck, regardless of whether you have the most voluptuous hitties, he's going to say to himself, I'm not going to chase after the most desperate woman, because what type of prize is that? I get the woman who's begging for attention. I get the woman who is desperate for validation. That doesn't feel very attractive. That doesn't feel like some sort of prize. You get what I mean? Right? And a lot of times those subconscious emotions and feelings that they get when they meet you and in the process of learning and understanding you will override what they're seeing. So if they meet you and you embody a dream woman based on how you look, then in the process of getting to know you, he realizes that you're really desperate and you're really needy and you really need a lot of validation. All of the dream woman that you used to represent is going to be overlooked, and he might use you, but he's not going to prioritize you, because he's going to say to himself, why am I chasing after someone who's not a prize? I'm chasing after someone who's literally begging for my attention and begging for my love and appreciation. Ew. Gross. Okay? Gross. Does that make sense? This is why I always tell you guys that when you're thinking that when we have these conversations and I talk about bettering yourself and things like that, when you're thinking in your mind, you have it stuck in your mind, oh, but you know, I weigh too much for guys to find me attractive, or oh, I don't look the part that guys won't find me attractive. So none of this information is going to work because guys aren't even attracted to me in the first place. First of all, guys are into a variety of different things. So let's not even use that as an excuse. And second of all, okay, it's not really about your physical attractiveness. Yes, of course, that plays a role. We'll not pretend like it doesn't. But what it's even more about is your energy and the way you understand and strategize how to present yourself in a way that is in line with being the prize, with being the person that should be approached and, that should be appreciated and should be chased and pursued after, right? The thing to be won. Guys love video games for a reason. So if they feel in the process of meeting you that you're not something to be won, that you're actually kind of like trash on the street that is begging for someone to pick it up and appreciate it and love it and care for it, you're like a stray cat, not very attractive, okay? Not something he's gonna want to invest his time and energy into pursuing after. I'm just gonna tell you the truth, okay? So it's more about the mental, even for the guys, than you even imagine. Okay, I can actually assure you of that, even if the guys don't want to admit that to you. Okay, so mindset change, number 1. Number 2, you need to begin prioritizing your needs. This is where I want you all to be paying attention, because I know this is where I'm going to lose some of you guys, because you're thinking in here, but I just want tips and tricks to get him to text me back in 45 seconds or less. I just wanted tips and tricks to get him to send me more Snapchats throughout the day. No. You need to understand that if you want a specific type of treatment from men, especially from men, you need to start by treating yourself that way. I know it doesn't sound fancy. I know it doesn't sound magical. And I know it doesn't sound like a Disney princess movie, because you were only thinking about how you can do more for the guys. Okay? But I need you to understand. Let me just fix this here. I need you to understand. Oops, let me fix that. There we go. I need you to understand that prioritizing your needs is the start of everything that you're trying to do. If you are not prioritizing your needs, then you cannot expect a guy to come into your life and start prioritizing your needs. Start prioritizing yourself and your needs. Start prioritizing the things that are important to you. Okay, and this is the really important part. Very important part. Okay, in the process of you prioritizing your needs, and we're going to get to this next in more detail. In the process of you prioritizing your needs, you need to make sure that when you meet a new guy, you don't begin putting your needs on the back burner because you feel like, oh, well, I need to start prioritizing you now too because you're in my life. See, this is the problem. You're in a relationship where this is what should be happening. The guy that meets you or sees you wherever he is, comes to you and approaches you because he finds you attractive, because he finds you interesting, and he wants to get to know you. So because he wants to get to know you, you are at an advantage. You don't have to do anything because he's already letting you know he's the one that wants to get to know you. So because he is the one that wants to pursue you and get to know you and gain more access to you, you don't need to start doing more things for him. I know this sounds really doesn't make sense, doesn't seem like it makes a lot of sense, but a lot of you are making that mistake because the moment you meet a guy and you like a guy, even if he's the one pursuing you, you start to feel like, oh, well, I need to start prioritizing your needs over mine because I got to show you how much I care about. No. He's already made it clear he's the one pursuing you. You don't need to prioritize him. Actually, it's his job to start prioritizing you and your needs because he's the one trying to get more access to you. Right? PJ says toxic men have turned the tables on females. Yes, I 100% agree. And we've discussed that in past live streams about how guys will use different strategies to turn the tables back on you, where even if he wanted you, even if he was initially pursuing you, they use different strategies and then they flip the script on you and now you're pursuing him. And this is why we're here today, because I want you to understand if you're going to get treated like a priority, you cannot begin pursuing him and you cannot begin prioritizing his needs over yours. Now, listen very carefully. I'm not telling you that you shouldn't care about anyone and you shouldn't do anything nice for anyone. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, though, is you shouldn't be giving girlfriend treatment to a man that you just met. You shouldn't be trying to be a wife and a maid for a man who only wants to smash you and only has taken you on one dinner date or has just met you on Tinder. Okay. There's a difference there and there's a line there. You do nice things and kind things for the men that have proven themselves to you that they're here to be invested for you and with you in this relationship long term. You're not trying to do more things and be a maid and be a wife to a man who you literally just met last week. That's the problem. Or for some of you addicts, a man that you literally haven't even met in real life, that you're only messaging on Tinder, messaging on Hinge, messaging on WhatsApp, or messaging on your phone or texting, whatever. Okay? Because some of you do that too. You're prioritizing needs of a man you haven't. I'm going to get mad. You're prioritizing needs of a man you haven't even met in real life. It's horrible. Okay. And the thing about it is too, what you need to get is that the men are perceiving that, like they're receiving that from you. So when they meet you and they're getting the understanding that you're starting to throw by the wayside everything that's important to you to like make him the priority in your life. Yeah, cool. The men might say, yeah, it's awesome for me that you're prioritizing me, but he's not going to say, wow, I want to prioritize you in return for how much you're prioritizing me. The men take it as, oh, you're letting yourself get taken advantage of. That's great for me. I'm happy because I'm getting everything I want. That does not mean that I'm going to start chasing after you or prioritizing you in return when you're giving me everything I want for absolutely nothing. I need you to understand that. I really need you to get that through your head. Stop prioritizing men that are not prioritizing you, because 99% of the time, especially at the very beginning, those men are not even prioritizing you, and you're already jumping out the window trying to make him the center of your life, especially when you're the woman and he should be the one pursuing you, which should mean that there's no reason any of your time and energy should be invested into prioritizing him, because you're the one that he's trying to impress. That's how it should be. He's trying to impress you. He's trying to put his best foot forward for you. He's trying to get picked by you, not you get picked by him. Okay? So you need to start prioritizing your needs and figuring out. So for some of you, this is going to be the most painful part. You're going to have to start figuring out what's important to you. You're going to have to start figuring out what you care about. You're going to have to start figuring out what makes your life feel fulfilling. I know I talk about this a lot, but this is actually one of the biggest keys to all of your relationships, which is why I talk about it so much. Because some of you are so focused on the validation from the man that you think that your entire life is just one big pool of validation. And the only way you will have any self-worth or value is if you're being validated by a man. But I'm actually here to flip the tables on you and help you realize that the only way you get treated like a prize, the only way you get approached like a priority, the only way you get treated like a priority is by investing into yourself, which is why I'm always going to be reminding you that you should be investing into yourself and figuring out what is important to you. And for some of you, actually a lot of you, you've spent so little time prioritizing your own needs, you don't even know what your own needs are. So when I say prioritize your needs, you're honestly like, I honestly don't know. I don't know what I need. I don't know what's important to me. I don't know what I should be doing aside from being with a boy. My whole life is being with a boy. And for my entire life, it's only been about going from one boy to the next. It's the same reason why I tell all of you, beautiful souls, that the way to detach yourself in a relationship where you're focused on yourself and you're focused on what's important to you and you're not so invested that you feel like, oh, this has to work with you, is not by dating more people. See, some of you guys get this mistaken, and I've seen some of you guys comment this in the live chat and on my videos where you say, this is why we should date 10 men at once. This is why we should date 20 men at once. Have a roster of 85 men that you rotate through so you're never attached to no other men. No. That is a horrible mistake, because then you're stretching yourself so thin, you're not allowing yourself to actually build anything real with any individual person. And you're also not properly able to absorb the person and receive them for who they are, because your mind is in 1,000 different places. I tell you all the time, you only have 100% of your time and energy. So when you spread it thin across 80 different men on your roster, you're not actually doing yourself a favor. You're actually making it way harder for you to determine, or is guy number 78 more in line with what I'm looking for in a husband, or is it guy number 63? Or was it guy number 15 that said that he was going to take me out? And now you're literally, you're so confused, because you're trying to figure out who is the one that's actually showing themselves to be the one that I need in my life, because they're all kind of the same, and you can't absorb any real information that way. What you need to be doing is dating one person at a time until you figure out that they're not the person you're looking for. You end that relationship, like you actually cut it off. You don't string it along, and then you go on to the next person. Why? Because you want, throughout the span of you dating, you want the time and energy to be able to prioritize yourself always. And I can assure you, whether you're a guy or girl, this isn't any specific to any gender, whether you're a guy or a girl, it will be impossible for you to prioritize your needs when you're spread so thin, dating 1,000 other people. Okay. Jova says, okay, but Shira told me to date 3 at a time. Now what do I do? Well, here's the thing. I'm not going to tell you that one particular way to live your life is better than one other way. Okay. So if Shira told you that and you believe in that, then gladly go do that. Shira talks a lot about finances and money and things like that. I focus more on the emotion. I don't personally think it's a good idea, especially for you as a woman, and how emotionally invested you get into relationships and how attached you can become to one individual person. I don't think it's a good idea to be spreading yourself so emotionally thin across multiple men at once. Okay. I'm not saying you can't date different men, but I feel like it's always best and best serves you to be focused on one relationship at a time until you identify this relationship is not going to work out and this is not what you're looking for. And then once you identify that, you cut it off for good. Did you notice I said cut it off for good? And then, and only then, you focus on the new man. Okay? That way you can be sane, and you can be sure that what you're seeing is what you're seeing. And when things are on, they're on with men. And when things are off, they're off with men. Not these. See, I'm of the belief when you start trying to do 3, 4 men that you're dating at once, multiple men that you're dating at once, you start to do this thing where instead of being on with a man and then off with a man, meaning there's a clear black and white line, and you know what the standards and expectations are, you have multiple men which you're kind of on with, but you're kind of off with, but it's kind of serious, but it's kind of just a talking stage. And what ends up happening? You're in limbo. And the moment you start living your life in limbo, there's confusion. And you know who loses when there's confusion? You do. And you know who wins? Actually, ironically, when there's confusion, the men do. Because when there's confusion, he can do things that are inappropriate and say, oh, but I didn't know. I thought we were doing a thing, but you thought it was a different thing. And then you're like, wait, but no, we already slept together. How can you think it's this thing when it's actually that thing? Or no, how would you think it's and then when there's a whole bunch of confusion, and let's say you sleep with him while there's confusion, now you're the one that loses because you've wasted a body on a guy who you don't end up with. And now there's a whole bunch of a jumbled up mess. So you want to do yourself a favor and not allow there to be confusion. And when you're on with a guy, you're on with a guy until you're off with a guy, and then you're off with that guy for good. Not stringing him along because you want a whole bunch of different options. That's just me personally. I don't think that it serves you to do that. But if you think that that's a great way to live your life and a great way to help yourself detach from individuals and be take a step back from things, sure, go ahead and do that. It's not my place to say what the difference between right and wrong is. Okay, but you need to be either way, whatever you choose to do, you need to have enough energy to prioritize your needs. Because the moment you stop prioritizing your needs, your life is going to become about the man. And the moment your life becomes about the man, well, he's the one that is able to feed you in terms of like feeding your own self-worth and self-image. And so everything that you feel, the only way that you'll ever be happy, the only way that you'll ever feel satisfied or fulfilled is if that man gives that to you. Because you have spent no time or energy prioritizing yourself, making yourself happy, doing the things that are important to you. And so the man is in control of everything you feel about yourself. You've basically given him access to your own emotions by being able to take you over the moon and take you down in the dumps simply by one word or action. That's a very dangerous place to be in because, like I said, that's complete control. He has complete control over you and your emotions and your feelings, and he can use that control to extract from you whatever he wants to extract from you, however he wants to do the extracting. Not a good place for you to be in if you're in that state of mind. So specifically, if you're not sure of what you need to be prioritizing, you need to take a step back from relationships. I'm sorry to tell you this. If you're not sure what your needs are, if you're not sure of what your priorities are in life outside of being in a relationship, you first need to take a step back from the relationships, take a breather, and then you need to do some exploring in your life to figure out what your needs are, to figure out what's important to you outside of a relationship, and to figure out how you fit into this world as an individual. Once you get those answers, then you know the things that you need to continue prioritizing even while in a relationship. Then when you start dating again, those are the things that you keep your focus on even while you continue dating someone, because those are the things that keep you sane and keep your mind grounded, where you're not over the moon or down in the dumps based on whether a guy likes you or not. And the thing about it is, this is why everything works together. When a guy can't shake you or move you simply by whether he gives you validation or takes it away, what then ends up happening is, rather than you adjusting yourself constantly to fit more of what the men want, you start figuring out, are you going to adjust for me? Because I'm already whole. I already know what I want. I already know what I'm looking for. I don't need your validation to make myself feel good. So they don't have that control over you, and you don't feel the need to continuously adjust yourself, hoping that, oh, but I want to be picked by you. I don't want you to reject me. I'm so scared that you'll reject me and not like me that I'm going to figure out how I can do backflips and front flips in order to be the woman that you want me to be. It actually, prioritizing your needs actually helps you not to be a pick-me-sha, which is why I'm so adamant on it, that you prioritize your needs, because we don't want you to be a pick-me-sha, but that starts with the mindset change, and that starts with prioritizing your needs and what's important to you. Okay, so number one was are you guys following me so far? Okay, validation is for parking. Electric Fuel says, I love it. Right, Dinah says, we are already happy, 100%. You got to pick yourself, and I'm telling you this as a man. I shouldn't have to, but I'm telling you this as a man, because I know when some of you think about, okay, what do the guys want? I'm here to honestly tell you that the guys want a woman who is investing into herself. Those are the dream women, and those are the women who get chased after, as crazy as that sounds. I know it sounds like the complete opposite, because you're thinking, but don't they want the woman who will do the most for them? No, actually, they don't. They want the women who are barely paying attention to them and are paying attention to themselves and investing in themselves, because they want to be on that train. Someone said valedictorian. Okay, so number one was mindset change. Number two, prioritizing your needs. Now, number three. Okay, this is the part where all of you need to be paying attention, because this is the part where I get mad. Okay, number three, in relation to prioritizing your needs, if you want to get treated like a priority and not an option, as horrible as this will sound, you need to sacrifice less. This is where we're going to have a real conversation. You need to begin sacrificing a lot less, especially for the men that you're dating, if you want to get treated like a priority. Why? I'm going to tell you this from a man's perspective and how we talk amongst each other as men. I'm just going to be so for real, okay? We call it toxic if you want. I'm just going to tell you the truth of how men discuss this, man, okay? When we talk about the girls that we can hit up at 2 a.m. and go over to their house and sleep with them, I can assure you, we don't talk about them as if those are the women we're prioritizing in our lives. We might share stories about how crazy it is that as soon as I finished at the club after chugging down a bottle of Henny or chugging down a bottle of Belvedere with my boys, I dapped them up, and then I called my favorite eater up at 2:30 a.m. after I left the club, and I stumbled and fumbled over to our place, and I smashed, and then I threw up, and then I smashed again, and then I left at like 4 a.m., and that was such a crazy story. But I can assure you, after we laugh about that crazy story, he never once says, that's the girl I'm going to take serious. That's the girl I'm going to prioritize in my life. That's the girl I'm going to build a relationship with. Actually, as crazy as it sounds, after he tells that story, a lot of times he then goes on to talk about the girl who he really wants to be with, but he's still working on her because, you know, she's not easy and he can't get easy access to her. Why? Because the guys know that certain girls, they can call at 2:30 a.m. and stumble and fumble over to their place and smash after the club. They would not dare to ask certain girls that, because they know it would absolutely ruin their chances of being with them. They wouldn't dream of it. I'm just telling you this so that you can understand men aren't idiots, okay? They might be a little bit emotionally stunted, but they're not idiots. They know that they can try certain stuff with certain girls, and they know they shouldn't even bother trying that certain stuff with certain girls as well. So I say all that to say, you need to sacrifice way less than you've been sacrificing for men, because that's the only way they start treating you like a priority. When you are trying to put on your maid outfit and scrub the floor squeaky clean to show the men that they should pick you and want to be with you and want to make you their girl, and you're sacrificing your entire life, you're sacrificing your own needs, you're sacrificing everything that is important to you, you're sacrificing sleep, you're sacrificing money because you're taking off shifts to be with him, you're sacrificing whatever you need to sacrifice so he'll pick you. In the end, it only makes it easier to overlook you when you're sacrificing everything for him. I can assure you, I've heard this plenty of time from guys, and I've also experienced this myself. The girls who were early on in our relationship sacrificing the absolute most for me, I only thought to myself, gee, it's great that you sacrifice your entire life for me, but it does not make me want to prioritize you in return. Unless I was already interested in you, you sacrificing your entire life for me doesn't do anything for me. It only makes me feel like if I just continue to do nothing, you'll continue to sacrifice and I'll continue to get what I want. So why would I do more when you're already giving me everything I want for absolutely nothing? Nothing. You're giving your time and energy and brain power away for nothing. Nothing. So I really mean this when I say sacrifice less for men. And so in the example that I just gave, it's the same thing. Like even small sacrifices where he feels like, oh, I just finished at the club. The music's playing. He was dancing. He was grinding on some girls at the club. He got a couple girls IG at the club, let's say. And then he calls you up at 2:30 after he finishes at the club. And then he's like, yo, I'm trying to come see you. And you actually, first of all, you actually pick up the phone at 2:30 when you should be asleep and you got a shift tomorrow morning. But you pick up the phone because you want so badly for him to like you, and he hasn't texted you or called you in the past couple of weeks. And now he's finally calling you and texting you, giving you some attention. So you pick up the phone. And then he says, yo, I miss you so much, girl. It's like when I'm not around you, it's like I don't function right. And I know we haven't talked in so long, but me and you know how we go way back, and you know we got to catch up again. Yo, I think. Then he puts on this voice. I think, girl, me and you, we should have a heart to heart, like spend some time together again. You know, had that quality time that we never got the chance to have. You know, you never really gave us a chance, girl. Can you give us a chance for once, like me and you, like. You know how we do, like, you know how we rock. We always laugh. We always giggle when we together. Can I make you giggle some more? Can I make you giggle just a little bit more? Let me come over, girl. I'm trying to see you right now. And then all of a sudden, you're sacrificing your sleep. You're thinking about, okay, I'm going to call in sick tomorrow. You're thinking about, okay, he wants to spend time with me now, so I'm going to rearrange my life so that I can be with you and spend some time with you because now you want to spend some time with me. It won't work out for you how you think it's going to work out for you. I promise you. Stop sacrificing so much for these men and they'll actually start treating you like a priority. Listen, I know that everything that I say here is going to sound really toxic and really selfish because I'm telling you basically to be selfish. But I just have to be honest with you that men don't treat women like a priority when they're trying to do the absolute most for them. I just have to be so real with you. I don't make the rules on why that is the way that it is, but that is the way that it is. Okay? I've never seen a man or experienced a man treating a woman like a priority who's on her hands and knees scrubbing the floor squeaky clean trying to be the best mate out there. I've only witnessed men treat women like a priority who barely like them and they have to chase and pursue after like a hungry hyena. I've only ever witnessed that. Probably has something to do with nature, probably has something to do with the way that men are hardwired, but I'm just here to share with you that information so that you can do with it what you will and figure out how you're going to adjust the way that you approach relationships to get the result that I know you want, because I know you want to be treated like priority or else you wouldn't be here listening to the show. Okay? But I have to help you understand that the way to be treated like a priority is honestly, as horrible as it will sound and how horrible as other people will tell you it is to be more selfish. And to do less for the men. Not because you're a super unkind person or not because, you don't care about anyone else but yourself, but simply because the only way for men to truly appreciate and prioritize you, I know it sounds horrible, is for you to not put so much time and energy into them. And then they get to exist in their natural masculine state where they feel the need to impress you and do more things for you. I just have to be real with you. Okay. Tia B says, society has taught us to do everything for men. It's so nice to hear that it's the opposite. Yeah. I don't know how, for other people that maybe consider relationship gurus, I don't consider myself a relationship guru. I just think I'm a regular human being. Okay. I'm just sharing with you some experience and knowledge that I've had in my short life. So, in my understanding of how things go, I honestly would say that for you, the woman, this advice would be different for men, but for you, the woman, I don't think that you need to super prioritize and sacrifice a whole bunch of stuff for men, especially when the natural dynamic of things, if we're thinking about men being the masculine energy and you being the feminine energy, the natural dynamic of things is that for men to seek you out, pursue you, and be the ones trying to impress you. So why would you be needing to prioritize men so much and scrubbing the floor squeaky clean when the men are already the ones pursuing you if they like you and are attracted to you? You get what I'm saying? Like, why are you now flipping the script for yourself where you're chasing after and pursuing him, trying to be picked by him, when the natural occurrence of things is for him to be doing the impressing, him to be doing the pursuing on you? Right? Right? Kalia says, can we sacrifice if I have my interests? I think you meant to say being like rich is your interest. Actually, we're going to talk about that. So I'm actually so glad that someone brought up money. Okay, let's hop into this next one. So we talked about the mindset change. We talked about prioritizing yourself and why it's important to sacrifice less. Okay. This is so great. I want all of you to pay attention. Those of you that listen to Shira and you like that advice on how to get rich men and how to get the super high value men, the men that make millions of dollars and drive Porsches, please listen up. Okay? All of you listen up. This is very important. Now, point number 4, you need to separate yourself. Pay very close attention. Stop pooping now. If you've been pooping, suck it up now. Okay, stand up straight now, sit up in your bed now. I want you to pay attention to this. You need to separate yourself from all the other women. If you want to be treated like a priority, it is painfully important that you separate yourself from what every other girl is doing. Why? Because if you're going to be the priority, then there inherently has to be something unique about you that stands out in his mind that would make him say, I want to treat this girl differently than I've treated all the other girls. I want to approach this relationship with her differently than I've approached all my relationships in the past. In order for him to want to make a change when it comes to you and treat you like a priority that he's not treated any other girl like, he has to find something unique and different about you that is unlike all the other women in his life. Okay? So I'm going to explain that in more detail. So when I say separate yourself, I want you to be able to, and this is, you'll gain this skill as we join the Players Club more. You'll be able to step outside of yourself and think about life and relationships from the man's perspective to figure out how he's perceiving things. Here's a really good thing. Here's a really good concept for you to understand. If you're dating a super high value man, let's say a man that's making millions of dollars a year, okay? He drives Lambos, he drives Porsches, he drives McLaren, he's got a huge mansion, and he's, for whatever reason, he's young, he's attractive, and he's single. I've actually had people in this situation that have asked me for advice. And he's attractive, he's single. He can literally go anywhere in the world, pick up a woman, pay for her entire life, and make her his wife. So he's accustomed to meeting beautiful women. That's not something he's gonna find rare. He's accustomed to meeting women with huge, amazing dump trucks. He's accustomed to meeting women with tight bodies and voluptuous yitties. He's accustomed to meeting supermodel women that look the most beautiful and the most amazing. He's accustomed to meeting nice women. He's accustomed to meeting friendly women. He's even especially accustomed to meeting women who will gladly be in a relationship with him. This is what you need to be understanding, okay? This is what you need to be understanding. If you're trying to separate yourself from all the other women that a sought after guy is dealing with, you have to be thinking from the perspective that if I can identify he's rich, if I can identify he's attractive, if I can identify that he's really, really desirable, right? And I would gladly be his wife because he literally would make my life so easy and give me princess treatment. You have to understand, if you can identify that, think to yourself, if this is a single man, that must mean he has come across many other women. Now, let's do some critical thinking. Do you think that if you can quickly identify those qualities in him and why he would be a desirable husband, do you not think that all the other women that have come across him in his entire life have also been able to identify the qualities in him that would make him a really desirable husband? The answer is yes, of course, they have also been able to identify that. So if your natural thought process, as soon as you meet a man that you find really desirable, is let me scrub the floor and do everything I possibly can to make you like me, what do you also think that those other women who he came across in the past have immediately thought after they thought to themselves, he's a really desirable husband? They have also thought to themselves, oh my God, this is the high value, amazing man that I want in my life and want to make my husband. Let me figure out how to scrub the floor and put my maid outfit on to make him see me and pick me over all the other girls. And so, funny enough, he actually has, picture this, he's got thousands of women with their maid outfit on, scrubbing the floor squeaky clean, all looking up at him saying, hey daddy, are you happy with how squeaky clean I've scrubbed the floor? Hey daddy, do you see me? Look how clean my tile is. And she's like, no, look how clean my tile is. No, look how clean I squeaked the floor. No, look how clean and they're all repeating the same thing, dressed in the same maid outfit with the same sponge, with the same dingy, dirty sponge, scrubbing the floor viciously, looking up at him, yelling and screaming, trying to get his attention. Literally thousands of women. They're all doing the exact same thing. The exact same thing. Because they all want to be the one chosen by this high value man, this super desirable man that gets whisked off to a land far, far away on the white horse and gets chosen to be the princess. Okay. So they're literally all doing the same thing. Think about to yourself. I want you to actually envision that. Now think to yourself, how can he possibly choose one of those women? They're all beautiful. They're all nice. They're all friendly. They all have huge voluptuous yitties. They all have huge dump trucks. They all look amazing. They're all friendly. They all do the same thing. And they're literally here scrubbing the floor the same way. They're literally here wearing the same maid outfit. Everything is the same. It becomes literally impossible for him to pick any one of those girls out and say, you're going to be the priority. And the reason I want you to visualize that is because I want you to visualize in the sea of women that are on the floor, on their hands and knees, literally in the exact same maid outfit, scrubbing that floor squeaky clean, repeating the exact same thing. Hey, daddy, can you see how squeaky clean I'm squeaking the floor? Can you see? Are you looking at me? Look at my square. Look at my square. I want you to picture in that sea of women, there is one woman standing up, looking over in the distance, with her hair blowing in the wind, not even turned in his direction, admiring the sunset. With a little twinkle in her eye, and he can barely catch just the ever so slight glimpse of her. And she's not even paying any attention or mind to anything that's going on here with this sea of thousands of women on their hands and knees scrubbing the floor. I want you to actually visualize that. Then I want you to think to yourself, which woman do you think he's actually going to approach? One of the thousands of women who are on their hands and knees scrubbing that floor squeaky clean, begging for him to notice? Or do you think he's going to approach the woman in the far distance who isn't even looking in his direction, got her hair blowing in the wind, watching the sunset, paying him no mind? So when I give you that visual, do you see how the way to separate yourself, in all irony, is actually by doing nothing? Because the natural occurrence when you're doing nothing is that a man can take notice of you and find you fascinating enough that he wants to know more about you. It doesn't mean necessarily that any of those women who are on the floor scrubbing the floor squeaky clean are any less than. But you have to understand the way a man's mind works. He's not going to be able to differentiate or appreciate any of those women who are all doing the exact same thing, the exact same way. The only woman he finds curiously interesting enough to approach is the one in the distance that's not really paying him any mind. And so what does he do? He ends up pursuing or treating like the priority the woman who is not paying him any mind, watching the sunset. And in this visual, he literally steps over all of these women in the maid outfit. They're like roaches. He's like stepping over them. They're all scrubbing the floor the exact same way. He's like literally trying to push them out of the way so he can finally get to this woman in the distance. Meanwhile, they're all begging for his attention. He's like, please get out of my way. Please stop. Please get out. They're like grabbing onto his ankles, trying to hold him there so that he won't get away. Hey, please let go of me, please. And he's like chopping arms off, trying to get him away, right? Only to approach the one woman who's not on her hands and knees, doesn't have a maid outfit on, and is staring at the sunset. And he says, hey, my name is Thompson. What's your name? I give you that visual so that you can understand why it's so important to separate yourself in a man's mind, and how you do that by literally doing nothing. And the less you do for him, the less you pay attention to him, the easier it makes for him to naturally just be able to say, you're the woman I want to pursue. You're the woman I want in my life. You're the woman I find interesting, that I want to learn more about. Okay? And that's truly how you separate yourself from all the other women. Because like I told you guys, I'm not here to really teach you how to attract a super shy, unconfident, insecure man. I'm here to teach you how to attract high value men who can actually offer you something. So let's assume the high value men that actually can offer you something are also high value to all the other women in the world as well. So you have to understand, yes, there is inherently kind of a competition for those men, because all the other girls also want to be picked by those men. So if you identify a guy that you really like that is considered a high value man, the way you attract him is actually not by scrubbing the floor squeaky clean for him. It's actually by positioning yourself in a way where he can notice you, but you're not here to impress him. Okay? So you separate yourself by just allowing him to notice you and allowing him to do the rest of the work. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to be anyone. You don't have to talk a particular way. You just be you. And the simple fact that he finds you fascinating or interesting, he will then approach you because he wants to know more about you. And so in the meantime, all you have to do is invest continuously into yourself until that man finally approaches you. And I promise you, if you're doing the investing in yourself the right way, the men will approach you, and they'll approach you in droves. You'll be shocked. When you begin investing in yourself, you'll be shocked how many men approach you unsolicited. You'll actually start being like, can you please stop approaching me? I'm actually here to just have a good time and enjoy myself. Right? Vita says, when you try to control or manipulate, it won't work. I agree. See, that's the funny thing about joining the Players Club, is that I think when a lot of people, when they don't join the show and they don't actually listen to, because I know some people, they're like, oh, but I just, can you just give me the information in 60 seconds? This is too long for me to sit down and listen all the way through. See, the problem is when you're only trying to get the single piece of information, you'll think to yourself, oh, but why are you trying to do so much? This is so much games to try to attract a man. Why don't you just be yourself? But in reality, I'm actually telling you to be yourself. I'm actually telling you to lean into being more of yourself. And I'm teaching you how the strategy of doing nothing helps the guys actually want to pursue you. But in the process of that, I'm just helping you understand the different strategies you can utilize and how the men are thinking so that you can understand how to properly position yourself that the men can want to approach you and see you. So yeah, I guess you could call it manipulation, but the only thing you're really manipulating is his perception of you. You're not actually changing yourself or who you are, but you're understanding how perception plays a role in your perceived value. So you present yourself the right way. And then the men that approach you are the men that approach you. Okay. That's kind of the gist of everything that we learn here in the Players Club. Those that are not part of the Players Club or they only watch a 60-second video, they're not going to understand. So don't worry about those people when you see them say, this makes no sense. This is toxic information. You have no idea what you're talking. The rest of you that know what we're actually discussing in the Players Club, you know what the Players Club is about, which is exactly why you're the one that are going to end up winning in the end of the day. Okay. And those girls that don't bother listening to any of the strategies that we give here or any of the concepts that we talk about, they'll be asking you for your secret on how do you get these men wrapped around your finger. It's crazy. Okay. So number 1 was mindset. Number 2 was to prioritize your needs. Number 3 was to sacrifice less, a lot less. And number 4 was to separate yourself. And number 5, okay. Number 5 is I actually want you to find what's missing. So here's the thing. With every man that you meet, in the process of you learning and growing and understanding him, you're going to get a sense of his trigger points, his traumas, and you're going to also get a sense of not just what is he looking for in a wife, but you'll get a sense of what is missing inside him, what void is existing inside him. And I'm not saying that you should change yourself, but you have to start thinking to yourself, how can I fit that void in a way that is unique to just me, that will make him addicted to me because he can't fill that void without me? This is like really advanced, complicated stuff, okay? But I want you to stay with me because you'll actually learn something that's really valuable. See, the thing about it is when you meet people and you grow with them and you begin understanding them more, especially when you start getting in the habit of asking good questions to learn more about the men that you're dating, you'll get an understanding of not just the human being on the surface, but the human being underneath. I'm talking about the whole human being that has experienced all these different things in life. And when you get to understand the whole human being, you'll begin to better understand what is it that is actually truly most important to you in a relationship. What is it that what void is it that is missing inside of you that a relationship can actually help to fulfill inside of you? Everyone has their own thing, okay? In the process of learning a man, you will be able to better understand that. And the thing about it is, when you begin to figure out how you fit in that, how you can help fulfill these voids that are existing inside him, then you become irreplaceable to that man. Now, this is not really about doing more for him. This is more about eliciting a feeling and an emotion inside him that makes him feel like the thing that I get from you, I can't get from any other source. So I'll give you an example. Let's say you're going out on a date with the guy, and in the process of getting to know him, you start to realize that one of the main things he's looking for in a relationship is the confidence to go out and try things and do things. And he's always in his head having paralysis by analysis, which just means like he spends so much time thinking and analyzing that he never actually takes action. But he needs that confidence to just say, no, you're capable of doing it. And I believe in you. And to have, you can maybe, let's say in the process of you understanding his life and his family life, you get the sense that he's never had someone to say, I actually believe in you. Like, I believe in your abilities to get it done. I believe in your abilities to do the right thing. Okay. And you understand that, hey, if I'm able to instill confidence in him, right, in the process of us getting to know each other, and when he's with me in person, not over the phone, when he's with me in person, if I can do more things to help instill confidence in him, I'm filling a void that he's not able to just go out and get from anyone else. And it makes it that much more addicting to be with you Because how am I going to be without you when you fill a particular void that's existed my entire life that I haven't been able to fill in any other of my relationships? This is when you start thinking about human beings on a way deeper level, where you're analyzing things about them way deeper than anyone else is thinking about them, but you're also figuring out how what makes them tick, what pushes their buttons, right? What motivates them, what inspires them. And the thing about it is, when you start getting good at that, especially for you as a woman, when you start getting good at identifying in the men that you're dating what inspires them, what motivates them, what drives them, what gets them up in the morning, when you start understanding, those are like getting the keys to the car. Because now, I know this is going to sound horrible, but now you actually begin to understand how to control him. If you understand what motivates him, if you understand what inspires him, if you understand what drives him and what gets him up in the morning, or how to do that, you now have the keys to be able to motivate him and inspire him to do anything you want. And you also subsequently fill a void within him that makes him feel whole and fulfilled, that he can't go out and just get from any other person. I know this stuff might go over some of your heads, and you might have to listen to this multiple times to really get a grasp of it. But I promise you, as you grow in relationships, and especially for those of you who may be on the younger side, as you get older and have more experience in your relationships, this will make more sense to you. Okay? Because when you find what's missing within him, right? And you figure out how to inspire and motivate him, and what voids you can fill for him. I'm not saying that you should do more for him, but what voids you can fulfill for him, how you fit in his life, what problems you solve for him, not by doing more for him, but just in the way that you serve in a relationship, what he's missing inherently, emotionally, mentally, right? Then you begin to have the keys to the car and understanding how to motivate and inspire him, which means you end up being able to control him. I know that's like a side thing. Okay. I know this point is going to tell me if you guys are confused, because I know that some of you are a little, probably might go over your heads because you're like, motivation, inspiration, what does that have anything to do with being treated like a priority? The reason I say that it's being treated like you will get treated like a priority is because once you begin understanding how to fill those voids within him, then guys then say to themselves, I can't get this substance from anywhere else. You're doing something for me that I cannot go out and find within any other woman. So in the I see some of you saying, please explain. So in the example that I gave where I say, let's say you identify that a man needs confidence to be able to go out and do things. Let's say, for example, he's really been struggling getting his business off the ground because he doesn't feel like he knows what he's doing. He has imposter syndrome. I know I'm going so deep into emotional, things here. Let's say he has imposter syndrome. He never feels like what he's doing, he actually deserves it. He feels like he's just walking aimlessly, and he hasn't been able to get himself off the ground in the process of building this business, because he constantly feels like he has imposter syndrome, and he constantly feels like he doesn't, know what direction he should be going in. And then you come along and you figure out how to instill confidence in him by giving him those words of, what's the word I'm looking for? Not appreciation, words of encouragement, affirmation. That was the word I was looking for. You guys are so smart. And affirmation. You guys see, now I know you guys know what I'm talking about. You give him those words of affirmation, and you help to instill in him that confidence that he is then able to say, you know what? No, I am capable of doing this. You know what? You are right. You know what? And you start giving him examples, but look what you did here, and look how you did this, and look how you were able to figure this out and figure that out. And then he says to himself, no, like, you're actually right. Like, I actually figured this out, and I actually did the thing, and I actually did it better than most other people could ever do it. And then you start to give him confidence where he says, damn, nah, like, thank you for that. I needed that. I needed someone to instill in me the confidence in myself to go out and do the thing. And then lo and behold, he goes out and he does the thing. But who do you think he associates doing the thing and accomplishing the thing with? He associates accomplishing the thing and doing the thing with you. This is something that's really advanced that I just want some of you to table that don't understand it for another time. And maybe one day as you grow, you'll understand its importance and its value. because some of you might still be lost. But I do want you to understand that this is something that's really, really powerful and can really change your life in how important you become to a man. Okay? Might not make a lot of sense to some of you right now, but I can assure you, when you become that important to a man where he feels like he can't be the best version of himself without you in his life, it's very powerful. And this is I know when I say be the best version of himself without you in his life, you're thinking, oh, so that means then I have to then do more for him. You have to understand, and you can instill confidence in a man, and you can make him feel like he's not whole without you doing more for him. Just through your words, just through the way that you encourage him, right? Just through the way that you speak about him or respect him and your relationship. Doesn't really require you to do more. It doesn't really require you to get on your hands and knees and scrub the floor. This is like for the older, more mature audience. They'll get it. Some of you that are on the younger sides might not get it. And I can only explain it to you once you start experiencing it. Okay? So I'll leave that there for some of you that might be a little bit confused. Someone said heal his inner child. Yes. Things like that. And this is like I say, you'll only start understanding this when you start meeting the whole human being of people. Okay. This is like something that happens over the course of years. Like when you start meeting the whole human being, not just the person you're going on dinner dates with, this will start to make more sense to you. Everyone you meet has voids within them. Everyone you meet has traumas within them. Everyone you meet has their life is going to also represent the relationships. And a lot of times what they're looking for in a relationship will be indirectly related to the voids that were existing in their childhood, in their upbringing, in their experiences. And in one way or another, they're going to be trying to fill those voids in their subsequent relationships through being with particular types of people. This is like advanced stuff, okay? I keep trying to explain it to you guys in a way that will make sense to you, but it's one of those things where you really have to start experiencing it to understand what it even means and how it even works. Because until you start experiencing it, it's going to be make very little sense to you. Because before you start experiencing it, you're going to be thinking that relationships are only about, do you like me and do I like you? And do I find you attractive and do you find me attractive? When you grow and mature more, you'll realize that there's so much more to each individual human being than just do I like you, do you like me type of thing. And when we talk about how you become like this, it's a lot deeper than do I find you attractive, do I think you're cute, do I think you have the biggest dump truck type of thing. Okay. Chris says, in other words, be in your full feminine energy. Yes. And this is why I'm trying to explain this to you guys in a way that you don't think that I'm saying you got to do more for the man. It's a function of what you bring to the table as a woman, where you can do things for a man that he literally cannot give himself. Emotionally and mentally and spiritually. This is why I say for some of you, it's not going to make sense because it's not very three-dimensional. It's very here. It's very here. Okay. So I want you guys, if you have to replay that 1,000 times until it starts making sense to you, replay it 1,000 times. You guys know that it's available on my YouTube. So it's right above my head. You can type in my name on YouTube and you can replay it 1,000 times. Okay. Sammy says, how do you do this without crossing the line and babying him? Okay, actually, that's a great question. This is something that only happens over the course of time. Okay. This is not something that you start trying to think, okay, how can I do this all in one night? And every guy needs something different. Not every guy needs to be baby. That's not necessarily the thing for every guy. And this is why I also say you do this in a way that is true to yourself. So I'm not advising you to baby men, but I do want you to understand that every single man has something that has a void within them that can be fulfilled only by you, a woman. And you have to start understanding within yourself, what is it that you bring to the table uniquely that can fill that void? Well, you have to first identify that void, but then you figure out how you fill that void for him. And this is not by doing more for him. This is this is all in the mental, the spiritual, and the emotional. Okay, I'll just leave it there. It's not by scrubbing the floor. It's not by washing the dishes, and it's not by cooking him a good meal. Okay? Everyone is different. For some people, it's instilling confidence in him to be able to go out and make $1 million. It's instilling confidence to be the best version of himself. Even for some people, it's helping him figure out how to mend his relationships with his family members. I'm telling you, there's this can go so many different places. You just have to, as you grow and mature in your relationships, this will become more clear to you. Okay? Does that make sense? It could be, Shay said, it could be being a good listener. I'm telling you, see, some of you are getting it. It's making sense to some of you. You will start to get the sense as you're meeting the real person, the whole person, not just the dinner date person, the whole person, you'll start to get a sense of what that individual man really needs past just, oh, I like to smash. Oh, my pee-pee is erect and I want to put it inside you. Okay. There's much more to men than just that. And when you start figuring out when you start figuring out what those men need past that, and you start figuring out how you can fulfill that, not by scrubbing the floor, but what you do as a woman fulfilling that, then you become so important in his life. He literally cannot get rid of you, because I can assure you 99.9% of not even just women, people overall are not thinking about how they serve or work for their partner in a way that does that. Okay. I'm telling you. And I'll also be very specific to you. This happens after he begins pursuing you. This doesn't happen as a way that you use to pursue the man. Okay. This happens when he's already identified that he wants you and he wants to build with you. This is like the cherry on top on how you continue to cement that you are the priority in his life. Right? Dana says to attract, we figure out what they are missing and how only we can better their lives. Actually, that's a perfect description. That's a great description. Okay. This is why I say this doesn't come right away. This is something that happens ongoing after he's already chosen to pursue you. And then as it's ongoing, you cement the fact that you are the number one priority and he does not want anyone else or anything else except for you. Why? Because you serve him in a way that no other woman can serve him. And this is why I say it's not about scrubbing the floor. It's not about giving him a handy or a footy. Okay. And it has nothing to do with the physical. It's not even about cooking him really nice meals. Okay. It's got to do with the emotional and this is a unique thing to all different men. Okay. I promise you, once you experience it, you'll start getting a hang of it and you'll understand. This is the same reason why I tell you guys, I don't think it's very plausible or realistic for you to be dating multiple men when there's so much to be learned about each individual human being, right? And the amount of energy required to understand and learn each individual human being, I don't think you would have enough energy left over to have any for yourself and to even properly invest in those other people that you're dating as well. Because even if you date a roster of 3 men, you're still going to have a favorite. Okay? And if you have a favorite, you're naturally going to be investing most of your time and energy into your favorite. So then what's the point if you're investing most of your time and energy into your favorite anyways? Why not just only date your favorite until he's no longer your favorite? That's just how I think, though. Maybe I'm an idiot. And for those of you that don't understand the last point and think that I'm talking about doing more for the man and scrubbing the floor, please just ignore everything I said and do all the other 4 points. Number 5 is only for the people who actually understand what I'm saying and understand how to do this without putting on your maid outfit and scrubbing the floor. Okay? Just keep that in mind. So if you know you still don't understand it, just ignore it. Pretend like I never even said anything for point number 5. If you understand it and understand how to utilize it the right way, then you can implement it. Okay? I know some people might still be a little bit lost. Someone said dating 3 people at a time is draining. Sweet said, yeah, I agree. But some people, see, the thing is, I also want to acknowledge that I might not know everything. So I do know that some people might tell you, date 3 guys at once, date 10 guys at once, date 20 guys at once. Look, I'm not here to tell you the difference between right and wrong. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, but I will say that if you were asking me for my advice, I wouldn't advise you to date multiple people at once. I just don't think you'll properly be able to extract what you need to extract from each individual relationship like that. Trini says in Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power, he tells the story of Cleopatra and how her man left and came back because the other girl couldn't compare. So sometimes they will leave, but never chase. I actually know exactly what book and story you're talking about in the 48 Laws of Power. I actually think that might be, are you sure that's 48 Laws of Power, or is that the Art of Seduction? Because I do remember, it could be both, because I do remember him telling a story about Cleopatra in the Art of Seduction as well, and how Cleopatra basically ruled for multiple decades simply by utilizing the art of seduction and understanding how she can embody her feminine and get guys to move and shake things for her without even realizing that they're doing her bidding. That was the whole kind of gist of what he was talking about with Cleopatra in the book, The Art of Seduction. So it could have been both though. Okay. But those of you who have read books like The Art of Seduction, you then understand what I'm talking about. Okay. Does that make sense? Sammy says, have you done an episode on how to be the black cat? I've literally done exactly a show just on that. So 100%. If you want that, I've done a show on that. Someone said Cleopatra was a massive bop. Well, that's not the point, okay? The point is that some of the strategies that she used in order to rule is about how you can embody your feminine without having to lift a finger. You get guys to do your bidding, and how it's basically the whole idea of if the king runs the entire kingdom and he tells everyone what to do, but the queen has the king's ear, and the queen can convince the king to do or believe in things or to make particular decisions, well, then who's really in control of the kingdom? Because if the king is in control of everyone else and the queen knows how to control the king emotionally and get him to do what she wants him to do, well, then really who's in control of the kingdom? That's basically the whole idea there, and how you can use your feminine to control the kingdom. Anyways, so that's a bit deep there. But I hope that some of you guys are able to grasp at least some of the points that we talked about. Okay. So with that being said, it is time. Do you know what time it is? I see we have some new people here because they're asking me, what time is it? I'm checking my watch. I'm checking my phone. I'm checking the computer. I'm checking the clock. I don't know. What time is it? I'm going to ask you Players Club members if you know what time it is. Because if you're a true Players Club member, then you're very, very, very aware what time it is. And if you're confused, don't worry, I'll tell you. Because it's Discord time. It's Discord time. It's Discord time. For those of you who are unfamiliar, Discord time is the most amazing time. It is a time of the show where all the amazing Players Club members get to ask me a question in our Discord, which for those of you who are on TikTok, our Discord is available on the TikTok chat or in the link in my bio. Or if you're on YouTube, it's available in the link in the description or at the very top there as well. And you all can ask your questions to me in the Discord, and I will answer them live on the show. So these are in order of the date that they were posted. So I'm scrolling down to answer the oldest one that I haven't answered yet, okay? Just to keep that in mind. By the way, let me acknowledge before we get started here, someone donated in the TikTok chat. Let me see here. Where was the donation? I saw someone donate earlier. Maybe I missed it. Sorry about that. But someone did donate. So thank you so much for that. Okay. So A says, about 2 months ago, let me make it big here. I'm so silly. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm excited. So advice, Aniv says, about 2 months ago, I, 33, met a guy who's 31 at an event. A friend of a friend introduced us. I thought he was hot and we hit it off. By the end of the night, I was kind of turned off because it felt forced. What? How did it go from you thought he was hot to it felt feeling forced? It seemed like his friend was trying hard to set us up. Okay. I was going to join them to go to another party afterwards, but decided to go home instead. When I was leaving, he followed me out. Oh, he like you. You must got that dumpy. Okay. And walking on the street asking why I changed my mind. You must got that dumpy. He don't want to let you leave. I told him I'm not sure what he's after, but I'm recently divorced after 12 years and I don't do friends with benefits. Good, you standing on being a girl. Okay. He asked me to take his number, but I changed the topic and left shortly after. He's going to pursue. He's going to pursue. You played hard to get. He asked me to DM when I got home. Okay. I didn't. And he messaged me asking the next few days we spoke when he would react to some stories. I turned him down the first time he asked me out, but agreed to go last week and eventually had a great time. I wish I saw your videos before. The thing I did wrong was not being vague. And when talking about myself, we were both pretty interested in each other. And I would say the time was split pretty equally with talking about relationships, family, etc. Okay, so that's decent so far. You didn't follow the strategy exactly, but decent so far. You played hard to get. Clearly, he's pursuing. Okay, this is at least good so far. We kissed several times throughout the night. Not a crime. Okay. He tried to take me home. That's where things get shaky, but I didn't. Okay, good. Clap it up for her. Clap it up for all the tragic stories. We need to clap it up for Aniv. She said no. Good job, Aniv. You said no. Okay, good. You're on the right path now. Good. He texted me the next day with kind of an inside joke, and I left him on red. Oh, you're being mean now. Good girl. This is good. You're good. This is good. Not giving him nothing. Give him nothing. This was 5 days ago. Do you think I should reach out? No. Or does this mean he was just after pineapples this whole time? No, don't reach out. I know this message was sent a while ago. I hope you didn't. Don't reach out. Don't do nothing. He came up to you. He pursued you. You even said no. And he said, please, if you could just give me your Instagram, I would love to get an opportunity to send you a message on. Like, he was like heavy pursuing. Do nothing for him. He's already pursuing you. And I'm so serious though. Do nothing for him. He's already pursuing you. So keep it that way. Don't start switching it up and you chasing after him. He messaged you an inside joke. If it wasn't really about anything serious, you ignored it. Cool. If he really wants to see you again, he gonna message you again, or he's gonna respond to one of your stories and he's gonna ask you out on another date. He knows who you are. He knows where to find you. He knows how to get in contact with you. Do nothing. You've been doing a good job so far though. And now that you've been watching the show, you know to go back on the next date and get him chatting about himself even more. So do nothing. Okay. Very simple. Next we have here, let's see. See, chat, you know, we got a lot of questions, so don't be upset if yours doesn't get answered. By the way, I saw someone in the chat say that theirs was missed. It was someone named Neldy, but I don't see a Neldy here. Yeah, Neldy, resend your question because I don't see Neldy here based when I sorted on, date posted. Okay. Katie says, getting played by my mother. What? Okay, chat, buckle up for this one because I have no idea what this means. Let's see. Update. Thanks for your advice regarding moving out of my parents' house. I only know the history of their relationship. Oh, sorry. So this was someone that was having a family issue, I believe. Let's go on. I only know the history of their relationship because my mom has explained it to me. I know that they used to be friends with benefits because as a child, I would hear them having pineapples through our walls. You really have to be paying attention to every show, guys, in order for you to like, this is like Players Club lore. So like on the episodes going back, some people are sending second messages that were updates to messages that were sent before. You literally have to watch every episode. I have no other way to explain it to you than that. Probably TMI, but you wanted to know how I knew. Okay, so you were hearing them having pineapples through the walls. Interesting. Also, in what world would I invite my mother to the club with me? I don't know. Everyone's different. So and I've actually seen people bring their parents with them to the club to get drunk with them. So I don't like to, make any assumptions. So, but I also said, when you said that, I said maybe it could be not that. I understood what you said when explaining that I can't help her see what's right for her until she's ready and that I eventually want to see her again once we separate as well. So I took your advice and stopped confronting her about her behavior, and she started acting nice again. Okay, cool, good. But only being more and more obvious. I was just wondering, if we continue to bump heads with each other, how should I go about my behavior moving forward? I'm aware that consistently confronting her will not change her behavior. However, I feel like I won't be able to distance myself without her noticing, considering we live together. And she will make me explain my actions, but she's becoming a very toxic and player-like. Player-like? What? It's your mom. So honestly, in your old message, I remember you saying that when you complained about something, she said, why are you complaining? You're a grown woman, you're an adult, so you can take care of yourself. I think it was about money or something like that. You can get your own apartment and stuff like that. So that should be your exact same response if she ever questions you about why you're distancing yourself or making you feel like you need to explain to her why you're acting a particular way. You're an adult. You take care of yourself. You don't need to be explaining nothing to her. She doesn't pay for anything or nothing like that. So that should be your response to that. It doesn't have to be in a rude way, but you're an adult. You take care of yourself, and she doesn't need to be up your bum about everything. Simple as that. Just do you. You know what I mean? If people get bothered by you doing you, then that's their problem. Last year, for her and my sister's birthday, hers is in June and mine on the 9th, they took a trip to Chicago together. This year for their birthdays, her man took all 6 of us to a trip to Louisiana. Damn. Okay. I figured since I don't usually get noticed or gifted on my birthday because she always seems because she always seems to be struggling around that time, I'd ask her to take me to Toronto for my birthday. What, you want to come to my city? In August for my first vacation. What, did I make Toronto sound so good, guys, that you guys all want to visit here? I asked in June, she said, I'm not sure about that. You're kind of setting yourself up for this. You're telling me that your mom always has some magical issue. You're telling me that you always know your mom has some magical issue around that time. And then you're also saying that, you still asked her anyways. You're almost kind of setting yourself up for disappointment. But let's go on. I don't think we can afford it this year. A few days later, I overheard her talking to him about going to Toronto. Okay, that's weird. So I assumed she was planning our trip. She's not an alcoholic, but consumes it pretty often, especially on vacation, and randomly texted me out of the blue, I love you on Friday. It's funny because it's your mom. My silly self replied thinking it was genuine. Turns out she drove to Toronto with her boyfriend for the weekend and was drunk. That's weird. Excuse me. My roommate has her location. So you actually moved. What is going on? My roommate has her location and informed me immediately. Why does your roommate have your mom's location? That's weird. This is a guy. Your guy roommate has your mom's location. Does anyone else think that's strange or no? Okay. I was also interested in traveling there. Also, keep in mind, I can't even get lunch or walk in the park with her. Okay. I may have said this before, but for me, it's not about her boyfriend not spoiling me enough or giving me princess treatment. I mean, that's her boyfriend, not yours. It's about the lack of enthusiasm and engagement in our relationship opposed to theirs. I get it, but there's only so much you can do. You can't force someone to care. And I've made that clear. I'm at the point where it seems obvious that she's playing in my face. I feel like I'm chasing a man to be in a relationship with me. LOL. I've solidified my goal to relocate, but I can't help but be bothered by such treatment while still living here. Well, if you've already made your goal to relocate, then just focus on how good your life will be when you relocate. Don't be focusing on how miserable you are right now. Think about all the possible things that you'll be able to do when you have your freedom. And then just think about how you can work harder to get that freedom faster. Okay? At least you'll have hope and something to look forward to instead of spending all your days miserable. Are you sure in this relationship, I'm going to want to rekindle eventually? I think that when you move out and you no longer are under your mother's roof and you no longer have to answer to her, you'll basically no longer going to face the problems of like her husband eating your food or her boyfriend eating your food, or you just having to deal with her where you're under her roof. And so you kind of have to abide by her rules. When you move out, you'll have your own individuality. So whatever your mom chooses to do with your life won't be as offensive to you. That's what I mean. And so you're going to stop harboring so many hard feelings towards her, because you'll be like, I have my own life. If you want to be in it, mom, and you want to do things with me, cool. But if you don't, that's perfectly fine. I'm not offended by you not, me doing my own thing and you doing your own thing, because you won't be attached to her in any way. Right? You won't be under her roof and you won't be having to live by any sort of rules that she has for you. You get what I mean? So that will make it easier to deal with her. I'm not saying that all the problems will go away, but you won't be as offended by everything that she does, if that makes sense. Okay. I feel as if it will just result in me chasing her like a dog's tail. I don't think so, because once you start building up your own life, it'll become very easy to detach yourself from the everyday of you and your mom's relationship. I'm just going to be honest with you. You also mentioned working with what I have. How should I move accordingly? Well, you move out, and whatever you got to do to make it easier for yourself to move out, you do that. Okay. You sent the message of your mom saying, hi, how are you? How was your weekend? That's funny. That's funny. I got my car impounded last month and wasn't able to get it back. So she knows I couldn't have done anything besides stay home. So why ask this? She's trying to be nice and all. Trying to be all nice to me now, but I'm over the pretending. Okay, if you're over the pretending, then don't pretend with her either. Just be there for as long as you have to be there until you move out, and don't worry about anything else. I think you're becoming a little bit too worried about everything your mom does to you and everything. Like, I'm not saying you're a bad person for it, but you're so hyper fixated on every single nuance of word and sentence that your mom does to you that everything feels super offensive to you. This is why I think, honestly, the solution to your problem is moving out, because it will feel so much less offensive what she is doing or saying to you when you have your own space and your own individuality. Okay, I can assure you of that. Not saying that all your problems with her are gonna go away, but I promise you it will not feel as offensive every single way she texts you and speaks to you. Okay. Next we have here, let's see. Okay. We have your football boy. This is probably not going to go well. Okay. It never goes well with football boys. And I was a football boy. Silly Willy says. Silly Willy, that's your name? Silly Willy? About 2 weeks ago, a guy football player at my college. Oh, a college football player. Even worse. Asked for my Instagram at the gym. You should have just said no. I wasn't super interested to begin with, but he was persistent, and after 4 days of calling me multiple times and texting me lots, so I hung out with him. Let's see how this goes. We didn't kiss on the first date. Oh, there was a date. But then he persisted to ask me to hang out every day after then. The next day we kissed, and that was it. And the next day, I gave him pineapples. We were going well, Things were going well. Things were going good. And then Silly Willy came in. She shook things up. I want to ask you, Silly Willy, though. Why? The man begged you to hang out. You hang out with him one time. It was a decent date. The next day, you kiss. And then, sorry, the next time you hang out, you kiss. No, the next day you kiss. Then the next day after that, you have pineapples with him. So this is your third time meeting him in person. Third time. You went on one date. We won't count the time where he just asked for your Instagram. You went on one date, and then you went on a second. I don't even want to call it a date. You just said you hung out. And then third time was pineapples. And actually, this happened within the span of 3 dates. So he went on the first date with you, and by the third day, right? So 2 days after that, he slept with you. Okay, let's see what happens after that with this college football player. I told myself to stay strong, but I didn't. Too horned up. I tell you guys, get the toy. I put it in the Discord for those of you who want the link to the toy that I'd be discussing. I put it in the Discord so you guys can purchase the toy and, control your urges. I'm so serious. It's not even a joke, because that's part of the problem. Okay. It was the biggest snake I ever seen. You see, when you guys start talking like this, this is why I recommend to you guys the toy. You're mesmerized and you're like, oh my God, if that just gets inside me, I'm going to lose my mind. And you lose your ability to think straight. You need to satisfy your urges so that you're not losing your ability to think straight. I'm so for real. It's not even meant to be a joke. Okay. Like, I can tell by the way you're describing it like this, you're mesmerized. Okay. Then the next day, he asked me to he asked to see me and brought me snacks. We had pineapples again, because you're mesmerized now. And it was the best I ever had. You see, okay, I haven't read this ahead of time. You guys know that, right? I can already tell by the way you're talking that he pulled it out and your jaw dropped and you were sucking and slurping and getting penetrated, and now you've lost your marbles. I can tell. Your name is Silly Willy. I knew this was probably going to go this way. When your name is Silly Willy, I knew you were going to go in the direction he dickmatized you and you've lost your marbles. Best I ever had, and and he told me I was a freak. He's got you. Anyways, we both left for trips that same day and are on different time zones and haven't been talking much. And he's been much more dry over text. I wonder why. Shocking. He still made an effort to reach out every day, though. Do you think it'll ever work since we had pineapples early? Honestly, probably not. Just going to be real. How do I keep him interested? Do absolutely nothing. I would actually pull all the way back if I were you. And when do you give a main pineapple? Personally, I love pineapples, so I have no self-control. Okay. I'm actually trying to help you all. So this is why I give you guys this type of advice, because I know you. I know you guys. And I know that some of you are just like this. You don't have self-control. So when he pulls out a python and he starts penetrating you, you're literally losing your sanity as he's penetrating you. I know. Trust me, I know. And as you're losing your mind, all of your logic and ability to ration and reason is going out the window. So especially when he pulls a python out and he's doing some crazy work on you and putting your spots and he actually knows how to use it, and he's hitting spots that you never knew existed, and your Squirtle is squirtling all over the place, and you're like, it becomes impossible to think straight. What do you mean? Do I think this will work? You had pineapples with this man like 3 days after he really met you for the first, 2 days after he met you for the first time. Do you think he's being more dry over text magically? No, but you're making excuses because you want to believe that this is going somewhere. Why? Because you're dickmatized. How do you keep him interested? You do nothing, and you actually take away pineapples. You take that off the table because you let him know that this isn't going to be free pineapples forever. But I'll warn you, when you do that, you're probably going to realize he's not here to do anything more than have free pineapples with you. And if he's not going to be able to access you in that way, he doesn't want access to you, and he doesn't want to be around you, and he doesn't want to speak to you. You might realize, actually, you're probably going to realize that, and it's a painful realization, but that's the only way you're ever going to get this past just him casually using you for pleasure. Obviously, you're getting pleasure as well, but I guarantee you, obviously, you're even saying this now, you want more than just the pleasure. I hate to tell you this, but when you offer yourself to a guy for free, he's not then going to say, okay, well, I'm going to want to pay for a premium subscription now. He's going to keep taking what he's been getting for free. You're already in the chat or in the Discord, Silly Willy. So if you're watching this, go into the general chat and look at the link that I sent of the toy that will change your life. Because this is the only way you can begin to solve your problem. You have no self-control, like you said. So you cannot even be H'd up long enough where you can start making stupid decisions. You need to have something readily available to you that charges and is waterproof, that you can immediately solve your urges before you start making irrational decisions. I'm so dead serious. This is actually part of the problem. Okay? And if you don't solve this part of the problem, you're always going to be in a situation where you're like, oh my God, I haven't had it in so long. And last time I was literally shivering when he gave it to me. And maybe if I just go one more time, maybe if I just experience it one more time. And you're an addict. You're going to become an addict and you'll never be able to help yourself. It's not good. Okay. So Silly Willy goes on to say, also, he doesn't have a job. Oh, nice. I mean, he's in college. He's in college because he does football, right? Football full time. So I understand that. Hopefully he's on a scholarship. Okay. And gets a stipend. So no scholarship, just a stipend. Okay. Also, he doesn't have a car because he's from New York, but he lives here. He's lived here for 3 years. So you're basically in so many words saying he can't offer me anything really right now at all. Okay. Obviously him not having a job, he plays football, so I understand that. But a stipend, I'm assuming he also has a scholarship, but he's not really doing anything for you. That's what you're basically saying. So all he's doing is you're digmatized. So that's all there really is to this. I get it. But what I'm saying is that the way you solve that is by solving your urges so that you can start thinking rationally, because no rational thinker is going to say to themselves, oh, I should give this guy everything he wants for free and then think about if I'm going to build a relationship with him after. It doesn't make any type of sense. But you're digmatized, which is why your name is Silly Willy 369. But that's how you solve that's the first step to solving your problem. You need to solve your urges and your lack of control there. So you need to get a toy so that you can have a little bit of control, just a tiny bit. That way you can have an ounce of respect and dignity, just an ounce. Okay? Especially you going to the gym. If you at the gym a lot, you're even more horned up. It's a problem. You need to solve that before, so that you can be rational, because you're not going to build a relationship with him by continuing to offer it in for free. So I think you need to scale back. Don't be texting him. Don't be calling him. Don't be nothing to him. And then when he asks you why you're not texting or calling, you tell him, look, I'm honestly not interested in doing a casual random thing, and then see what he responds from there. Okay. Next we have here, let's see. Maya says, what does he want? Okay, Maya, let's see what he wants. I'm 28. I broke up with my ex who's 33 because he didn't want a serious relationship. The problem is that it's almost been a year and I haven't gotten over him. Wow. How long was the relationship? Okay. We haven't cut ties and are still talking and see each other occasionally. He still keeps calling me terms of endearment and sending me occasional gifts. I asked him why he says he will always love me, and I ask him why, and he says he will always love me. And I ask about the serious relationship, and he says he's not ready. I thought you said this was your ex. How can he? I okay. Let's go on. This has really messed with my mental health. I still cry every now and then when I remember us. We were great together. I tried everything: therapy, traveling, new hobbies, dating other people, and still feel so attached to him. I almost wait for his random messages and gifts to come in. This is horrible. Like, this is not a good place for you to be in. I just want to be able to move on with my life and find someone that wants to be with me in the long run. Last week, he sent me a gift. Oh my gosh. And I messaged him saying that this needs to stop. And if he wants to be something serious with me, then he has to man up to do it. Otherwise, he needs to leave me alone. He just replied, okay, I don't understand what he wants from me. Okay. Maya, I'm going to make this very simple for you. You need to block him on everything. Block his number, block his Instagram, Snapchat, block his WhatsApp, block everything. Block his mom, block his sister, block his brother, block his aunties, block his cousin, block his best friends, block them all on their social medias too, block all of their numbers, block any way he could possibly contact you. Don't change your Netflix password, change everything, okay? Change your everything password. In fact, change your phone number, all right? Change your phone number so he can't contact you at all. Why? Because similar to Silly Willy, you're just in an emotional sense, you have no self-control. So if he reaches out to you, you're going to respond. This is not good. He knows how much power he has over you, which is why when you say stop this, he just says okay, because he knows even if he doesn't stop it, you're just going to continue responding to him and playing this game with him. And see, part of the thing is, I think rather than even the physical control, he enjoys having the emotional control over you, which is why periodically he'll send you a message just to keep his control over you just enough that he can have the ego boost of knowing, ha ha ha, I still have control over you and your emotions. It's like a slap in your face or a spit in your face if you're into that. Okay? And the problem is you're not able to build new relationships. Like you said, you're not able to move on and find someone who wants to be with you in the long run because he continues having this ongoing emotional control over you. So you need to be the one to end that, because you have to understand, for him, this is an ego boost having this emotional control over you. So until you end it, he's never going to end it. He enjoys having emotional control over you. You're asking him to end it as if he like, please let go of your grip of me. That's basically what you're begging him to do. Please let go of your grip of me. And he's saying, no, it makes me feel good to have this control over you. And so what you need to do is you need to be the one to escape this. You can't beg him to let go of his grip on you. You actually need to walk away. And the only way for you to do that is for you to block his number, or in an even more extreme sense, change your number so he can't contact you ever again. I would also advise you to watch my show where I talk about how to detach from a man, where I give you a step-by-step guide on how you can actually make it easier for yourself to wean yourself off of this guy emotionally. So that includes getting rid of all his clothing, like throwing them in the trash, getting rid of any of things that he kept at your house, throwing away pictures, ripping them up and throwing them in the trash, not keeping them in your room in a trash bag, throwing them in a public trash can that you can't access ever again. Same thing with deleting your pictures, deleting the Snapchat memories, deleting everything, deleting the pictures off of your computer, everything, so that you can actually live your life without constantly being reminded of this guy. Because every time you're reminded of this guy, it's only going to make it more and more painful for you. In that show, I discussed that along with all the other amazing things in detail that you need to be doing if you really want to detach from a man. So go on my YouTube and watch that show. Okay, that's what I would advise you to do. And I would advise you to watch it every night until you go to bed, so you can remind yourself what you need to be doing so that you can properly get this guy off of you. Okay? Right? So you go on to say, since I told him to stop messaging me, he hasn't contacted me, hasn't even liked or replied my stories. I feel better, but I also want him to come back and ask me to be with him. I want him to realize that he lost me. What should I do? No, you don't want him to realize that you lost you. You want him to realize that he wants to be with you. I don't like when you guys say this, but you don't actually mean that you want him to actually have. Losing you means he never gets access to you again. You're literally saying in the sentence before this that you want him to come back to you. So you just want him to want you. You don't want him to realize he's lost you, have lost you. Okay. There's a difference between that, but I don't think that what you want is even going to serve you. Okay. I see here you're explaining more of the situation, but the same thing applies. Okay. You said you got obsessed with him monitoring his socials. I think, like I said, you need to block him on everything, because the problem that you're having is that you're hoping that he will let go of his grip on you. But what you need to realize is you need to do for yourself and get rid of him out of your life, out of your mind, out of your emotions. And so you need to delete things, throw things in the trash can, and make it close to impossible for him to reach out to you, so that you don't have to be tempted anymore, because clearly you don't have self-control. Okay. Maya K, that is my response to you. The only reason I didn't read the second part is because it was kind of more of the same. You know what I mean? I get the gist. So next we have here, let's see. Ella says, men staring, but never approaching or trying to humble/manipulate me. Interesting. Hey, Tomisin, huge fan of your channel, by the way. Okay, thank you. Thank you. English is not my first language, so I apologize in advance. It's fine. I'm not talking about someone specific, but rather something that happens frequently. At 29, I would love to be able to have a meet/cute story, like with a guy, I'm assuming you mean. But when I'm out and about, men just stare but never approach me. As the type of woman who thinks a smile is enough, making the first move isn't my style. I don't advise it to be. You should watch my video on how to flirt with men. Because of this, relying on dating apps has become necessary. No. Never resort to dating apps. Even though I can't stand them, it's the only way I get approached. When matching and clicking with someone, I follow up with a short video call to avoid being catfished. I mean, not a bad strategy, but still not as good as meeting people in person. Before an in-person date, certain patterns always emerge. They never or rarely compliment me, super nervous, and struggle with holding eye contact, even super handsome ones. Are you trying to say that you're bad as hell? Love to talk about other women they find beautiful. That's quite strange. Being very insecure, I don't feel jealous at all, because another woman's beauty doesn't diminish my own. In a somewhat competitive state, trying to compare our accomplishments, possessions, I never talk about finances and don't brag, as it's super tacky, but they ask about cars, etc. Try to humble me by looking for flaws, insecurities, or insinuating that I'm not natural, had plastic surgery. So you're basically saying I've got that dumpy and those voluptuous yitties. They be thinking I got a BBL. That's what they be thinking. When they see that huge dump truck walking by, swinging by, busting open, right? I'm filling up my jeans, my pants is filled, right? They be thinking I got a BBL, but I don't, which I haven't. I don't blame women who do, but I love the way God made me. Yeah, you got that dumpy. I was raised in a West African household. Chat, what this translates to is my dump truck is huge. Okay? If a girl says I'm West African and they think I've had plastic surgery, that means my dump truck is absolutely huge. Or if they say I'm East African, right? And they think I've had plastic surgery, means my dump truck is massive. Actually, it's amazing. I wouldn't ask for things I don't have myself. I live a great life and don't need a man, but I'm open to it. However, guys behaving this way is tiring. Understanding that I can be intimidating, but I don't just go for looks, as I value intelligence, compatible values, a great personality, and a similar lifestyle. What can be done, or what am I doing wrong? Okay, great question. So Ella, I actually think the best advice for you, two things to know. One, if you're continuously attracting the exact same type of guy, that is something you should be thinking about as to why am I attracting the exact same type of guy? Obviously, I don't know you well enough to put my finger on it, but that should be telling you something in itself. If you find yourself consistently attracting what feels like the exact same type of guy, that doesn't just speak to the guys, but it also speaks to whatever it is that you're projecting outwardly is attracting a very particular type of guy. I just have to be honest with you. So you need to start considering as well, what is it that I'm outwardly, putting out to the world that is attracting the exact same type of guy? Not to say that you're a bad person or cast any aspersions on you or your character, but that is something to note if you continuously notice that exact pattern, okay? The other thing to note is one of the best ways to start being approached by different kinds of men is by spending your time in different kinds of places. So I don't know, you didn't necessarily mention it here. You just said going out, but if you're only going out to bars or clubs and you're being approached by this particular type of guy that you mentioned here at all the bars or clubs, well, then now you have to start thinking to yourself, let me start going into different types of places so that hopefully I'll meet different types of men. I know it sounds very obvious, but a lot of times we're not doing this and we're wondering why we can only meet the same type of guy. It's because we're spending time in where that same type of guy spends all their time. So if we want to see a different type of guy, we got to go to different places. And they might be places that didn't necessarily want to go or may not find interesting. You might have to go to an art museum thinking, damn, why do I got to go to an art museum to find a different type of guy? Or why do I have to go to a writing class to find a different type of guy? Why do I got to join a book club to find a different type of guy? Why do I got to join a gym to find, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, the only way to start seeing a change is by making a change within yourself. Because the strategy here is not just, hope and pray that you'll see and meet a different type of guy. The strategy here is figure out what you can change within you or within your lifestyle that will yield you a different result. So changing your environment is one of the best ways to start seeing different types of people. So if you're unsure of what your interests are, just start trying different things until you discover something that you actually enjoy, and just keep doing that. And I promise you, you'll start to meet men just through the process of stepping outside of your house and not going to a club or a bar or even a restaurant, like doing something else that's not one of those three things. And I promise, just for the sake that you enjoy it, and I promise you, you'll start meeting different types of men. Understand what I'm saying? My advice is to literally go on Google and type in things that rich men do, if you want a rich man. And you start looking at the places that rich men hang out that isn't the club, the bar, the restaurant. And if you really, really, really want to meet a certain type of guy, sure, go to that spot. Okay. And I would advise you, though, to go to a spot that you actually enjoy, for the sake of the fact that you actually enjoy it, not because you want to meet more boys. And I promise you, you'll definitely meet more men in the process of you doing the thing that you enjoy. That's my honest advice to you. Okay. Next here we have, let's see. Okay. We got here. Oh my gosh, we have so many to answer. The DJ by Monica. It's like the opening of a book. Okay. So Monica says the DJ. So this guy randomly texted me on Snapchat. We've already started off wrong. This guy texted me on Snapchat on a day and I replied back. We were talking and it was going well. Okay, one of the things that I don't understand when you guys start to tell me that a guy approached you on Snapchat, from my understanding of how Snapchat works, maybe I'm a grandpa and I just don't know things anymore. From my understanding of how Snapchat works, when they add you and they don't know who you are and you don't know who they are, you cannot see a picture of them. It's not like an Instagram profile. So unless they posted a story at that exact time when they added you, you literally have nothing to go by of what they look like. Also, it's Snapchat, so a lot of people aren't even using their real name necessarily. That's literally could be anyone. It's not even like a dating profile where you have pictures to go off of, or a bio, or an Instagram. I just don't get, like, why do you even allow yourself to be approached on Snapchat? He asked why do you guys use Snapchat as a dating app? I just don't get it. He asked if he could come over. What? A guy, not even that you met, that added you on Snapchat asked if you could come over, and you actually even entered. How does this message even go on past this? At first, I told him no. At first, you told him no? Because I didn't want anything to happen, but I later agreed, so he came over. I don't understand. Yesterday, why? 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 Yesterday, I literally talked exactly about this. If this is a safety issue, you just invited a strange man over to your house. Do you realize Ted Bundy got invited over to houses as well? Right? And Jeffrey Dahmer had people over as well. I don't know if you realize how unsafe it is. How old are you? You didn't even say in this message how unsafe it is to allow strangers that you don't know and you can't verify where they're from or who they are and just allow them to come over. What do you, is like a mystery box to you? Oh, mystery box. We'll see who shows up at my door when I give a random stranger my address. Mystery box. Surprise, surprise. It's America's Most Wanted at your door. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I agreed, so he came over. We talked and played together. What do you mean we played together? What is this? What type of message is this? I was getting sleepy, so I told him I was going to bed. Why didn't you tell him to leave your house? What type of message is this, chat? You guys don't value your lives. I don't. You guys don't value your lives. I don't get it. Then he followed me. One thing led to another, and we had pineapples. First of all, why did you say that he followed you as if to imply that you're not at your own house? He followed me to my own bedroom. It's your bedroom. You invited that man over to your house. I'm really trying to refrain from getting really angry here because this is actually making me really angry. I just don't understand what you're doing. It seems a little bit like you're like the person from yesterday. It's like you're trying to flex bad decisions here. I know it's wrong, especially if it's your first time meeting a guy. We had pineapples 3 times. That's like 3 days in a row. Oh, sorry, 3 times like that, 3 days in a row. Nice. 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 Not just once, but 3 times, 3 days in a row. Did he sleep over all 3 days or did he come back to back to back? I don't even know which one's worse. At first, when he left, he used to call me and text me for some weeks. Then later, he stopped calling completely and would just text. I'm so shocked that a guy that slept with you after adding you on Snapchat, going over to your house, talking and chatting a bit, and then sleeping with you 3 days in a row. I'm so shocked that that guy would stop calling you and barely text you. Oh my God, this is such a crazy story. I would have never imagined a guy would treat a woman like this. Oh. Let's go on. I noticed the change in his energy and I spoke about it with him. He apologized. You're doing everything wrong. But I later said having anxiety if he hasn't spoken to me in a while, I would just be sad and it was really getting to me. So now your entire life has become about whether or not this guy is talking to you. Just keeps getting worse. Fast forward, we meet again. We tried having pineapples. So you're like a validation monster. You're actually one of these people that you're a validation monster. Your entire life is about the validation that a boy can give you through sleeping with you and giving you attention. That's the only way you seem to see any value in yourself. He tried having pineapples with me, but the truth is that I had lost interest, but finding it difficult to move on. So you can't even help yourself because you know this is not working for you, but you don't even have the guts or respect for your own dignity to say to yourself, this is not working for me. I'm cutting this off. You don't even have the guts to do it. Very sad, very tragic. So I told him no, but he was consistent. So I had pineapples with him out of guilt. I'm not going to say that that's untrue, but you say we met again. Okay. I can acknowledge that some of you are in some down bad positions when you're sending me these messages, but I also need you to take responsibility because nobody forced you to meet up with him again. Nobody did. In fact, he made it very clear that he was not here to be fully invested in you. So that was a choice on your part. I get that he was consistent with you and then you guys had pineapples and stuff like that, but being consistent is not the same as being forced. And you also were not forced to meet him. Okay? The only reason I say that is because I'm not saying that everything is your fault and this is all your fault, but I do have to be real with you that you also have to be responsible for yourself and your own feelings and emotions and actions. If you just finished telling me all the ways that this is not working for you, don't then tell me that we met again and he guilted me into doing stuff with him. You chose to meet up with him. You chose, despite the fact that this is not the relationship you wanted, to go back to that man. That is conscious decision. Okay? Nobody coerced you into doing that. I just need to make that clear because I don't like it when you guys send me messages and then you try to escape responsibility as if, oh my God, he literally took such crazy advantage of me because I didn't realize what was going on. No, you're making it clear that you knew what was going on. You knew that this wasn't working for you, but despite your judgment, you chose to make the wrong decision anyways. Okay? Well, I just want us to be clear on that. Not to beat you down, not to be mean, but I need us to be clear on that. I didn't feel good afterwards. I wonder why. You're not even respecting yourself. The next 2 days, I sat down and thought about everything and if this is how I'm going to continue. So I wrote up a short note. I no longer want to keep streaks. Oh, so this is all why you're keeping Snapchat streaks. You can't be older than 21. I don't think you can be with the way you're talking here. And have those casual meetings with him. Like you didn't want to have the casual meetings. And he said, that's okay. And didn't know what to say. So literally, once you said, I'm not going to give you free access to my Squirrel anymore, he said, cool, that's fine. I didn't want to build anything with you anyway. So be on your way. That I should think about it first. He said that to you. I did and told him I'm tired. Honestly, you don't owe him anything. Question, why is he still sending me snaps every day, even though I have stopped sending them to him? Probably because he sees how weak you are and how weak-minded you are and how you have absolutely no willpower. And based on this experience with you, right, when he was consistent and then you had pineapples with him out of guilt, you've trained him to understand in learning you that he can apply some pressure to you and all your morals and values will go out the window. So whatever you say, whatever standards you have, whatever boundaries that you set, they're not real boundaries because you can be persuaded to make whatever decision he wants you to make. It's exactly why I tell you all, right, to never do this type of stuff. Because as soon as a guy sees that you will go back on your word and you will not stand on what you say you're about, he will never, ever, 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 ever have any respect for any boundary you set. It's the same way when you say, I'm done with this and I'm not here to do anything casual. He literally says, okay, he doesn't even care. He doesn't even care because he takes it so unserious. Monica, I need you to understand you are a joke to that man. Literally a joke. A joke. When you message him, trying to send him this long, well thought out note, oh my goodness, I need you to understand that I'm not going to be here to have any more casual relationships with you. No more Snapchat streaks. Aren't you nervous? Don't you feel threatened? No more Snapchat streaks, no more casual hangouts, no more casual pineapples. I'm standing on business. He's literally laughing his guts out. He's cackling. He's on the floor, hysterical, laughing, because the fact that you would send him that message when you and him both know you mean nothing of what you just said, and if he were to apply some pressure on you, you would fold like a cheap lawn chair. He finds you comical. I didn't say he finds the situation comical. He finds you comical. You're a joke. You're a joke to him. I'm telling you the truth. This is not to be mean to you. I just want you to understand, you're asking me, why is he still sending me snaps every day, despite you sending him the note about how you feel and you no longer want to do this and no longer want to do that? It's because you're a joke to him. He doesn't take you seriously. And it's not for no reason. It's because you've shown that he doesn't have to take you seriously. So why would he? He's treating you like the joke you've shown yourself to be. So if you no longer want to be perceived as a joke, Monica, what you need to do is get rid of him on everything. You stop Snapchatting him. You actually should block him on Snapchat, and you should block him on all the other social medias he has and any way he has to contact you. I don't even mean block him for the sake of him. Block him for the sake of yourself, because it doesn't seem like you have the willpower to endure him continuing to reach out to you. If he were to ever send you any sort of kind-hearted message and say, I miss you, I want to see you again, I think you would fold like a cheap lawn chair. Actually, I know you would. So I think it's best for you and your self-worth to block him so that you can actually have some self-respect. Because truthfully and honestly, this relationship has already run its course and he thinks of you as a complete joke. So you don't need to send any more messages about what you're going to do, what you're about to do. Because see, the thing about it is you've been wasting your breath. You keep trying to tell him what you're going to do or what you're about to do, only to do the opposite. So there's no point continuing to send him messages about what you feel now, or to let him know your feelings on this, or what you're about to stand up for. Stop it. Just do it. So just cut him off. Don't tell him you're about to cut him off. Just block him. Don't tell him that you're about to block him. Just never speak to him again. Don't tell him that you're about to never speak to him again. Okay? That's the only way you'll get any sort of respect. And I need to make this very clear. You should still never speak to him again, because he already sees you as a joke. You're a joke to him. Use this as a learning lesson in the future, how to not get taken as a joke. Okay? I'm so serious. This relationship is over. This situationship is over, but use this lesson so that in the future, you never make this mistake again and a guy won't take you as a joke ever again. I just realized that the title of this is the DJ. Especially if he's the DJ, I guarantee you he doesn't let me be nice. He is not concerned with anything you're talking about. If he's a DJ at a club, I'll just say it like that. Okay? And I'll leave it there. Okay, so for those of you, I hope you guys got some value out of that. That's the show for today. And for those of you who didn't get your question answered, don't worry, I answer them every day on every show. So don't worry, your question will get answered. Don't fret. If you didn't get a chance to send in your message, please, if you're on TikTok, go into the link in the bio where you can send in your message and I'll answer it live on the show. Or if you're on YouTube, you can just go into the link in the description where you can send your message and I will answer it live on the show. Okay. Oh, by the way, let me shout out the people who donated here. I don't want to forget you. Okay. Shout out to Billy, who donated $5 and €5 in the YouTube chat. Says, thanks, Tomisin and Missy America. Thank you, Missy America. I really like Missy America. I love Missy America because she is so helpful in the chat and she helps hold it down in the YouTube chat. So yes, Missy America, she the best. Okay. So for those of you guys who want to send in your questions, you can send it in that way. If you love me so much and you want to see me more on every single platform and see everything that I, talk about every single day and every single thing I do every single day, just head over to my Instagram. You can find it right there. It's on the top left of your screen if you're on TikTok, and on the bottom right of your screen if you're on YouTube, where you can follow me on Instagram and you can see what I'm up to every single day and see where I've been since I was here in front of you on this show. Okay. And for those of you who are on TikTok and you want to get access to the show, maybe you missed parts of it, or you want to watch all the other live shows that I've done, go over to my YouTube, which is right above my head on the right side of my screen, and just type in my name on YouTube and you'll find my YouTube channel. Go in the live section and you'll see all the live videos I've ever done, live shows I've ever done with the YouTube and TikTok chat embedded in the live show. So you'll be able to follow along with all the context and conversation that's happening on the live show. It's such a great, amazing experience. Okay. I am here every weekday, Monday to Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So if you ever want to figure out when you're going to catch me right on time, it's 4 p.m. Eastern, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. I'm here all of those days. Okay. 4 p.m. Eastern time. So you got to figure out what time that is in your time zone. Okay. Until then, I will see you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. And until then, arrivederci, au revoir, goodbye, hasta la vista. I love you so much. Until we meet again, stay safe. Love life, and don't spend too much time with boys unless they're really serious about you. Okay? Bye for now.